Welcome to the Mindset Mile podcast, the show that'll leave you empowered to take action towards becoming the turned up version of your already awesome self. I'm your host, Aisha Zaza, and I'm so glad you're here. Let's go. Hey friend, welcome back to another episode of the Mindset Mile podcast. This week, I wanted to come back to this very crucial topic of giving yourself grace. And I felt like it was an important topic to come back to because I realize that being the type of person that you are to be listening to this podcast every week, and I'm assuming probably others, that personal development is important to you. But I've become aware through my own discovery that sometimes when you're seeking ways to improve and become the best version of yourself, that the personal development can become the line or a bar of standard, if you will, that can leave you feeling like you're always below it. That there's this gap from where you are now to where you want to be or where you should be. Personal development growth and this type of achievement is nearly impossible to quantify, especially because we tend to only believe our own rhetoric and thoughts about ourselves, despite the praise, notice, and energy from others. As someone with a high-achieving personality, believe me when I say that learning to give myself grace has been a constant work in progress. And I wanted to share a question that I always come back to when I feel my sometimes unrelenting standards persist. And that question is, what good is this doing me? What good is it doing me? Have you ever stopped to think about this when you're coming down on yourself very hard, thinking that you'll beat yourself into submission to do better next time? Whether that's about making better eating choices or missing a day of the challenge you committed to, or falling into the same emotional habits or patterns that have left you hurt time and time again. The best part about discipline, and discipline is so much more valuable when it is coupled with grace. I totally understand that this is the balance of which we are all trying to strike. And I wish that I had a straightforward blueprint for you on how to nail it. But it's circumstantial and it's relative from person to person. So what I felt compelled to remind you of this week is that you're doing a tremendous job. You're a better parent than you feel. You're doing better at your job than you think you are. You're fit and strong, and you should be really proud of how you're showing up for your workouts every week. Because you are the minority of the population. Did you know that? You are uncommon. It takes a different level of a person to care about the things that you care about. And your awareness of it puts you leaps and bounds ahead of where you think you are in the great spectrum of awesomeness. Something I learned recently that blew my mind is that the indoor air we breathe is 2 to 5 times more polluted than outdoor air. And in some cases, up to 100 times more polluted, according to the EPA. And air pollution is responsible for nearly 7 million premature deaths globally. We've personally been using an air purifier in our home for a few years, but I haven't appreciated how much work it was doing until now. The Air Doctor is an air purifier that filters out 99.99% of dangerous contaminants so that your lungs don't have to. This includes pollutants such as allergens, pollen, pet dander, dust mite, mold spores, and even bacteria and viruses that make you sick. Air Doctor comes with a 30-day breathe easy money back guarantee. So if you don't love it, just send it back for a refund minus the shipping. Head to airdoctorpro.com and use promo code MindsetMile to receive up to $300 off air purifiers. And exclusive to podcast customers, You will also receive a free 3-year warranty on any unit, which is an additional $84 value. Go get your Air Doctor purifier today at Air Doctor Pro. That's AIRDOCTORPRO.com and use code MindsetMile. So, what does it take to learn this critical skill of giving yourself grace? You might hate this answer, but it takes being self-aware. It takes the ability to realize what you're doing while you're doing it, which could look like talking negatively to yourself or being stuck in retrospect and beating yourself up over something you said or something you did, procrastinating, wondering why you aren't doing better. It also takes setting boundaries and adjusting your expectations. Guard the top priorities in your life and stop feeling like you need to commit to everyone and everything. Even if they are appealing and fun and things that you want to do, trying to fit too much in ends up burning the candle at both ends and it backfires. So it's important to leave room in between to get your life organized, to relax, and to let your nervous system rest. And adjust your expectations. The most productive people have fewer things on their to-do list. I don't know how or why, but we've made busy a badge of honor in our culture. But once you realize that doing less is more productive, you will feel a sense of peace, and it also leaves less room to self-criticize. And finally, realize that this is not a skill you will master once and keep for the rest of your life. It really is something you need to practice every time it comes up. Eventually, you probably will feel like it becomes a little bit more natural, but it's absolutely normal to need to commit and recommit to giving yourself grace over being so dang hard on yourself every time. So don't get discouraged when you feel like a tough inner critic is not something that goes away altogether. You're just going to be better about coexisting with it and how to mitigate it. So I really, really hope that this helps you have some tools and some access to giving yourself grace, because being too hard on yourself isn't doing anybody any good. Please tag me on social media so I can see that you are loving this episode. You can find me at Aisha Zaza. And also, who can you think of to send this to that needs this message today? I cannot wait to see you next week. And until then, make it a great day.